Right everyone, it is Finn here and welcome back to a brand new video where today I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about the African Nations Championship, an African footballing competition that starts this year on the 13th of January. And today I'm going to be telling you why it is not the same as the African Cup of Nations. Obviously, as I said in the beginning of the year, I look to bring forward a lot more African themed content this year. And as the African Nations Championship starts this January, I thought, hey, it might be the perfect start. Now, as I said, it is not the same as the African Cup of Nations that will be played later this year in 2023, because looking at the African Nation Championship, one of the big major differences between that and the African Cup of Nations is the fact that in the Nation Championship, you can only use domestic players, meaning that you can only use players that are local to those countries, meaning that if you have Morocco, you can only use Moroccan players. You can't use players like Hakim Ziyech for Algeria, you can't have Riyad Mahrez for Ghana, you can't have Kudus. You have to use players that are local to the regions of the countries that are playing. I mean, I think it's an absolutely brilliant initiative. This competition was created to bring more attention to those African countries, to both the leagues and the nations as a whole. And to be fair, I think it's done some real growth for those nations already. I mean, you only have to look at a player, for example, like Daniel Afcon, a 21-year-old Ghanaian striker, who has made a move to Swiss league team after becoming the top goal scorer in the qualifier stage, and he was even introduced to the Ghana national team for the 2022 World Cup. Once again, it's an absolutely brilliant initiative that will help the growth of African football. I mean, I think it especially does help African football because I don't think many European countries would benefit from something like this. I mean, can you imagine England if they could only use local playing players there? I mean, it would be the exact same squad just without Jude Bellingham.
No, he's got a point.
Once again, it is a brilliant initiative that will help African football. And the fact that this is only the 7th installment of the competition. The first one being in 2009, it was in the Ivory Coast, where DRC were the winners of the competition. Them, along with Morocco, are the most successful in this competition so far, with 2 titles apiece. And the growth of this competition, much like my armpit hair in the 5th grade, has grown rapidly.
Disgusting!
Because looking at this competition so far, it started off with 8 teams in 2009, and ever since then it's grown to 16 teams for the next 5 competitions. And looking at it in 2023, it has 18 teams involved. And the way the qualifiers works is it takes different teams from different sections in Africa, different regions in Africa. And once again, as I said, it really introduces you to players and teams that you wouldn't normally see. As I said, DRC, the fact that they tied for the most titles in this competition, the fact that they've been underwhelming in real life football, or let me not say real life football, when it comes to competitions when you can have overseas players. Once again, it does show growth in teams like that. Once again, you've got nations like Djibouti that regularly do well. You've got teams like Zambia, you've got Madagascar, you've got a lot of top nations that are proving their point here, where they don't really normally get to in the bigger African Cup of Nations. Once again, as I said, it will be played in a week or 2, and I am so incredibly excited for it. Whether I'm going to cover a lot of this content throughout the tournament, I don't know. I think I'm going to use this video to judge how much excitement there will be for it. But as I said, whether there are more improvements that could happen to this competition, it's tricky to say. I almost feel like it should be closer to the Olympics, where you can have maybe 1, 2, 3 players who are from overseas. So like Morocco could have Ziyech, they could have Bono. They're allowed 3 players who are currently playing overseas. But as I said, using domestic league players, I think it is huge for them. As I said, it's huge for African football, and I hope that it does get the exposure it deserves. Obviously, it is a FIFA recognized competition as of the 2010 World Cup, because they didn't want it to clash with the World Cup, and they also didn't want to clash it with the African Cup of Nations. Therefore, it is played every second year, obviously rotating with the African Cup of Nations, which, as I said, absolutely brilliant idea, and I just cannot wait for it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it for today's video. Yes, I know it is an extremely short video, but I just wanted to give you guys a tiny bit of fun update of what this competition is. And also, once again, it's not too difficult to explain. It's a relatively easy concept to understand. As I said, there are 18 teams, 4 teams per group, except for the last 2 groups that have 3 teams apiece. Obviously, you qualify to the next stage of it, so on and so forth. It's like any simple competition. The only difference is you can only use domestic players. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you did enjoy this video. If you did, please do remember to subscribe down below. Once again, it helps the channel out massively. Don't forget to like the video as well. Can we please get this video to 20 likes? And of course, if you're like me and you absolutely love African football, liking the video just makes the most sense. Guys, this has been Finn, FYNN. Until next time, this has been, I already said my name, Finn, FYNN. Cheers.